Tick TV show originally had one of the most horrifying toys I think I've ever seen in my life. And I'm wondering if you're going to get something as awesomely appalling as the plush doll that Patrick Warburton got.
Okay. No, I'm not familiar with this toy, and yeah, what was so horrifying about this particular toy?
It was basically a teddy bear that looked like the Tick, but it had a big plastic rendition of Patrick Warburton's face on it. That was pretty authentic.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't know. Uh, I mean, I know when I looked at my costume hanging up in my trailer at the end of a day shooting, I would look at it and think that is the most horrifying thing I've ever seen, and I just wanted to kill it. I wanted to get a machine gun and. It wasn't the most comfortable costume. It looks good though. It was comfortable for about half an hour, and then for the following 5.5 months, not so comfortable.
Well, I think what's interesting is Patrick Warburton had talked before about how this was, I think, his favorite character to play of all time, and he was a little disappointed that he didn't get to come back. But then when he heard you were doing it, he was genuinely excited that you were taking over the role, and he seemed to be pretty gracious about handing it over. Have you ever experienced that before, where somebody is that giving and kind of saying, here, take this and make it your own because I want to see somebody else do really great with it?
Oh well, that's a nice way of putting it. I mean, I know that Patrick sent me a really sweet, lovely message, wishing me good luck, and you know, I knew I had some very big, uncomfortable shoes to fill, and yeah, I feel like, not, you know, it's like Ben Edlund entrusting this character to me. This is his, in many ways, it's like his life's work, his magnum octopus. Is to try and use a Ben Edlund-ism. I mean, the Tick is Ben Edlund's, you know, alter ego, and it comes from this man's imagination is like, I've never experienced anything like it. I said to Ben one morning, I said, Ben, when you die, which we all die, you know, and if when you die, I will of course be sad, but part of me at least will take solace in knowing that that scientists will open your skull and be able to study your brain, or perhaps the 5 brains that are inside your skull, and maybe glean something that could help mankind in some way. But until then, we've got him writing the Tick, and long may Ben Edlund live.
Well, I was going to tell you this. This is a true story. I went to visit a friend of mine at the stylist school here in Pasadena, and when I walked in there, 30 girls singing Machadaynu. And this girl gives me this elaborate, at the time I didn't know what it was, and she gives me this elaborate backstory on this song.
Oh my
And I come to
God.
find out all these girls absolutely believe this backstory and think this is a real thing, and think this song existed in the 60s and disappeared. And I bring it up because
God.
well, I bring it up because it's kind of an absurd song, and there's this authenticity and realistic approach to this that makes these people believe in such a thing. And I realize that's kind of what you're doing with the Tick, where it's a little bit absurd, but stepping into this costume, you do bring this authenticity and realism to the character that I think only someone like you could bring to it. I'm wondering, how do you find that in something that's so kind of off the wall, yet making people believe in it that strongly that they're willing to give into it like that?
Well, I mean, look, part of the appeal of playing this character was to you've got this show that takes place in a real world, and then the Tick is like a cartoon character who's suddenly he's in this world and he's huge and blue and bizarre, and even the superheroes that exist in this world are like, wow, who's this guy? You know, and I think you know, so it's a challenge to make someone like that believable and also like three-dimensional, so that you care about the character and to make him real. And I think most of that credit goes to Ben Edlund and David Fury and Barry Josephson, the producers, like for getting the tone of the show right, because it could so easily be like something just kind of silly for the silly's sake, where you don't care about anybody and like it's just a vehicle for jokes, which this just isn't at all. You care about everybody. You even care about the bad guys in this show, you know. And I think as far as like making a cartoon character believable, we now have a cartoon character who is the president of the United States. I mean, he is more ridiculous than any writer could come up with. In fact, if somebody pitched that character to Armando Iannucci as a character in Veep on HBO, they would be like, "Come on, okay, thank you very much," and then that person would be fired. You know, that's what it feels like. It feels like the celestial writers have all gone on strike, and it's now the world is being written by the interns. Either that or God is drunk. I think that is what happened. That may be what has happened. God just doesn't care anymore. God's just writing any old stuff now.
I think that is the best summation I've heard of what's going on right now in the world.
Well,
seriously,
you know,
that's the perfect way to put it. Well, I got my rap cue, and I would like to thank you very much for coming on for a second. So,
dude, feed that dog. Feed that poor dog. Come on.
You don't know what he just went and got his little bottle thing that makes a lot of noise, and he was going to chew on it sitting here while I was talking because he knew. But I made him get it out of his mouth. So,
you give that dog an extra special meal.
I'm going. Special. He's going to get a big bowl of stew. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.